Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Today is a 10 on Tuesday. Now let's get crafting. For this DIY, we are going to be using this printable that I designed for all of you for free to be able to have and use. This food can, a foam square, and these lavender florals. Now this is a great DIY to try if you are a new crafter. It's really easy and a lot of these things you will most likely already have on hand. So I'm just going to take some burlap and I'm going to cut it down to wrap around my can. And if you noticed earlier, I already put that foam square cut down to size and glued inside the can. Once I've got that fabric wrapped around really tight, I'm going to take this printable and cut it out. Now this printable will be linked in my description box, which will take you over to my new website, which you will be able to download for free. And then once I've got it all cut out, I'm going to go ahead and glue that right on to the front of the can. And then I'm going to come in with my lavender florals. Now I like to always cut them away from that handle stem that they have them all clustered together because it just brings so much more life to them. Once you've got everything in the way that you like them, you're ready to display on a shelf somewhere in your home. Today is a 10 on Tuesday and I am teaming up with my wonderful friend Olivia from Olivia's Romantic Home. She is so talented. I'm sure you all probably know who she is because she is just like sunshine and she's so wonderful to watch and just inspiring and positive. If you don't know who Olivia is yet, I will link her down below and her video to her 10 on Tuesday that she's doing over on her channel. She is going to also be doing 10 projects that are going to just be so fun and inspiring. I know that you will just enjoy it. And if you're coming over from Olivia's channel, welcome. My name is Heidi Sonboul and this is my DIY channel. For this DIY, we're going to be using 2 of these white wire Dollar Tree baskets, 1 of these wood pallets that you can get in the craft section, and then I have this stair railing that I had left over from another project that I picked up at a repurposing store. I started by drilling a hole in the bottom, that way I can bring in 2 screws to make sure it's tightened nice to that wood pallet. Then I'm going to take my wire cutters and cut out 2 circles. They're kind of almost in the shape of an oval just because of the way the wire is in the bottom of these 2 baskets. And then I'm going to come in with my drill again and I'm going to drill a hole one way and then I'm going to drill a hole the other way. That way so there's this cross hole that's going through both sides of the bottom of this stair railing. And that's because we're going to run in 2 zip ties going in those opposite directions. And then we're going to bring back in that wire basket. It's simply going to be able to slide right down into place. And then I'm going to take those zip ties, I'm going to bring them up into the wire basket, and then I'm going to zip tie that basket right onto my wood railing. And it's going to hold nice and firm with these 2 crossed zip ties. Then I'm going to repeat that same process for the top basket. And then I'm going to bring that right down, find the spacing that I want between the 2 baskets, mark it, and then go ahead and drill my holes, doing the same thing, going one direction and then the other direction. Once I've got my 2 holes, I went back in with the wire and the zip ties and nicely tightened everything into place. You can see here that they're not going anywhere because the zip ties are pulled extremely tight. Then up at the top I wanted to add a knob. I thought this would be really cute, so I drilled a hole at the top of the wood railing, took one of these dowel sticks, and then these wooden balls, I actually picked these up from Hobby Lobby with a 40% off coupon, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue that all into place so it doesn't pop off if it gets bumped or dropped. It'll stay nice and tight and secure on top of the railing. Then I made sure I gave everything a nice coat of white paint. Then I took 2 of my favorite gardening tags that you guys know I use here all the time on my channel. I added some hot glue, flipped it over, added more hot glue on the back to make sure it's all locked into place. And then to give it that enamel metal look, I'm taking some black paint and going around the top of the basket. Now we could leave it as is, but I wanted to make the bottom look more farmhouse and add in some boxwood. So I glued on some foam squares left over from the first project, and then I'm just adding in that greenery as much as I like, and you're ready to use. For this DIY, we're going to need 3 mirrors, 3 of these long signs. These ones are from Christmas, but they have them all year round, and then some long painter sticks. Start by popping off the front of that extended out sign, the ribbon, and then the staples. Once you've got those all off, I flipped them over to the back side, and I'm going to bring these all together with some painter sticks, and I'm going to glue those into place to make them nice and straight as I possibly can. Now I'm going to create a box around this particular sign that I have now put together, but it's not going to be a sign, friends. It's actually going to be a wall jewelry caddy. I thought that this would be so cool because these are so expensive, where they can cost up to $100. And I wanted you to see that with just a couple of bucks and being creative, you can customize your very own jewelry caddy. So once I've got all my wood cut down to size and I glued them down, I went ahead and stapled the corners together first. Then I flipped it over and added a lot of staples in the back this way, so if it falls, it's going to make it not break. Then I'm placing in my long painter sticks, making sure they're the right size for the mirror to be able to go down the middle. And then once I've got those in place where I wanted them to, I went ahead and glued them down and then stapled them in place. Now I'm going to start customizing out the different boxes on this unit. I wanted to make sure that this line that's going across here from the original signs, I wanted to conceal that some, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those down to size for smaller boxes, and I'll show you a little bit later what we're going to do with that. And then I'm going to create one more, and you can see that I made my marking with a pencil where the mirrors were. And I'm going ahead and gluing this next piece down, and then I'm going to staple everything into place, making sure it's nice and secure. Then I took it outside, gave it a nice coat of black spray paint, and now I'm adding in the E6000 and hot glue to make sure that the mirrors do not come off. Then I'm going to take some contact paper from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to cut it down to size, and then rub that into place. Now at this point, I wanted to drill a couple holes. I found the right size I needed to be able to fit onto the dowel, and then I can slip my dowel through those spots that I just drilled, and then I'm going to cut off the extra of these wooden dowels that I don't need, and then I just glue that into place and then go over it with some black paint to make sure it covers it up. Then up at the top, I went with my smaller drill bit and I drilled a whole bunch of small holes so that way I can hang up all of my necklaces. So I'm just now screwing in some of these golden hooks that you can pick up from any hardware store. Once I was all done with everything, it was ready to be able to add this last little bit of cork in to put in earring studs, and it's ready to be used. This DIY is so simple to do. Don't blink, you'll miss it. So I'm taking these 4 supplies from the Dollar Tree. They have them out during the spring garden time. I'm putting the mesh liner inside of the basket, and then I'm taking this 3D wreath and I'm going to open it up and zip tie it to the bottom at all the junctions that line up. Now I saw this at one of my local gardening stores and it was so expensive. And when I saw it, I knew right away that I had all of these supplies from the Dollar Tree in my craft room. So I wanted to make it and show you all that you do not have to pay $40 for this. So far, I have only paid about $3.50. So at this point, I'm just taking apart the chain that was on the original basket, and I'm only going to be using one of those wire hooks. I'm just going to hook that up at the very top, and then you're ready to put outside with your beautiful plants. This DIY, at the end, you're going to see that you can take these cutting mats from the Dollar Tree and turn them into pretty much anything. I love these because they are a strong, sturdy material to work with, but you can also cut them. So I'm taking my ruler and I'm taking my cutting mats and I'm just cutting out a whole bunch of strips. I'm doing a bunch that are 2 inches thick and then a whole bunch that are 1 inch thick. I used 2 packs, so that's 4 mats because there's 2 mats in each pack that comes from the Dollar Tree. Once you've got everything all cut out and you have all your strips, I went ahead and took the smallest ones first, and I'm just going to cross them over each other. And you can see here that I have 4 of them, and then I laid a cup on top of it and I creased the lines going up. This is because we are going to weave this into a basket. It is going to look like wood when we're all done, and it's going to look so cool. And you basically made this for about $1. So you can see here that I put the first bit of glue, then I went around one of those sides. I'm going to glue that in place, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm just going to weave. So I'm going to go in, out, until I come all the way around to the beginning of that circle where I started. Then I'm going to glue it in place and cut it. After I got that first row done, I went ahead and moved up. So on the smaller basket, I'm going to have 4, I think maybe even 5. I can't remember, but I think it was about 4. And I'm just going to go all the way up, zigzagging back and forth until I get to the top. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to do something special here. I'm going to take those long pieces that I've been weaving back and forth on, and I'm going to fold one down, leave the other one straight up, and then fold the next one down, leave that one up, fold the next one down. And that's because we're going to come back in with a stapler and we are going to staple right on that part to make sure we lock everything in and it's not going to fall apart on you. And a regular stapler goes through it really easy. Then you're going to take your scissors and cut off those extra ones. I took mine outside and I gave it a nice coat of a tan spray paint color. Now you can see here on the bigger one I have the 2-inch strips and I only did 3 rows. And then I'm just coming in with a bunch of different colors of paint, and I'm just adding that on until I get the desired look that I want. And then I'm going to take some of this white nautical rope, wrap it around the top, and you're ready to use these to display and organize things. If you didn't know, I have 4 channels here on YouTube, and my boys also have a Lego channel. I'm going to link everything down below, all of those channels, so you can find them and check them out. And if you find something that inspires you, I would love it for you to stop on by and say hi. For this DIY, we are going to be using 2 of these round pizza pans and then some rope from the Dollar Tree. Now this is just like the Crop-A-Dile, but it's called the Big Bite. It's the larger version because now you can be able to push things in further and get a bigger reach where you want to punch a hole. If you've been here for a while, you will know that the Crop-A-Dile is like my favorite tool. It goes through plastic, wood, metal, and it's because it has this serrated tip at the end when you punch through it. It's not like a traditional punch hole. So you can see here that I went ahead and created 3 holes on each pan, and it looks a little wonky, but give it a second. I promise it's going to come together. I took them outside, I spray painted them with 2 coats of white paint, and now I'm going to take the brown rope. I decided to switch my plan. I didn't use the white rope because I spray painted the pans white, and I'm going to cut them all. I have 2 ropes and I'm going to cut them in half. So I have 4 long ropes, and you can see here that I'm tying a knot. I slid it through the holes on my pans, and then I came around on the top side and tied another knot, and that's because we're going to be making a hanging up tray, which will look so cute for the summertime. So I'm going to go ahead and use a ruler and mark out 12 inches, and then I'm going to make sure I tie my knot right at that marker, so that way the trays are nice and leveled and they're not going wonky to one side versus the other. And then go ahead and tie that nice and tight and repeat that on all 3 of those ropes. Once you've got that knot, go ahead and slide it through the next holes on the next tray. bring it through, and this is real speed right here. You can see that, you know, sometimes it gets stuck and you just have to keep working with it until you get it to go all the way through. But once I've got it all the way through, I went ahead and then tied my next knot right on top. And when you tie these knots nice and close to the tray, those holes that you originally punched completely disappear. You can't even see them anymore. So now at this point, I'm just tying on my last couple knots. And then I would say that this is probably the most tricky part of all of it. You want to make sure that you hold the tray up and make sure that it's all leveled so you can find that top knot where you need to tie it. When you do, there's going to be this extra rope, the third one. We're going to go ahead and cut that off because we don't even need that one. And then I'm going to take some hot glue to make sure nothing slips through and we don't have any issues with the rope coming untied. I just added some hot glue, brought the two up at the top, and tied my last knot. Now, real quick, I wanted to let everybody know, over on Instagram, I do a monthly giveaway, and this is the giveaway for the month. I will link my Instagram account as well so that you don't miss out on this April giveaway. Come on by, say hi. It's for all the friends that are over there that are following that account, and I cannot wait to award it to one of the winners at the end of the month of April. It was a trash day in my neighborhood, and my adorable neighbor, she decided to craft and DIY her own shutters, and she took off her original shutters that were this really cute minty color, and I went and picked them up. I told her I have an idea for them. I'm planning on giving this back to her when I'm all done because she loves Farmhouse like I do. So I'm just marking out on this shutter where I want my holes to be, and then I'm taking these adorable gold baskets that all of us love from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just simply going to zip tie them right onto it. I thought the mint with the gold and black looked so cute, and just such a fun thing to be able to use for decor, whatever she decides to put inside of it. I just wanted her to see that, you know, since she was DIYing some new shutters, I thought, why not try to show her that, look, you can still use these. And I keep joking with her, she's got to start her own YouTube channel because she's so crafty out there with her power tools whenever I drive by. So once I've gotten my 5 trays or my 5 baskets glued on, I'm going to take these tacks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use some E6000 to hold them in place so they don't pop out. And then I'm just going to take a Sharpie marker and color them black. And then using the cute, I love these stickers. Every time they were in stock, I always pick some more up. And I'm just going to write the market on it. I thought that this would be so adorable. And then I Mod Podged it all down so that it stays in place. If you are enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It means so much to me. And if you do like long, lengthy videos, I have a lot of mega videos, compilation videos in a playlist. I will link that down below in my description box and at the end of this video so that you can check out any of those other videos that I have done for past holidays and seasons. For this DIY, I'm going to be using 3 of these signs and then 4 of these canvases. Now, first I took off the fabric, the canvas that was on it, and then I'm showing you that you could remove the staples, but it was so much work to remove them that I decided to just leave them on. I sanded off all of the glitter from the signs so that it was a nice smooth surface, and then I'm going to start building this 3-tiered shelf. So I started by adding on that first one, and then I'm going to add on my next one. And you can see that the canvases, the frames, they're not the same exact size. So you can see that I've got a little bit of spacing on there, which is fine. It's going to look so cute in the end. And then I stapled everything into place. So first I glued it, then I stapled it. And then now on the next tier, to make sure it's nice and balanced, I'm going to bring back that frame. The wooden frame, I'm going to pull it back towards the edge, and you can see here that one is a little bit forward down at the bottom, The other one is pulled back more towards the edge of the top. And I'm going to show it right here so you can see that they're not perfectly the same, because I wanted it to look like that on purpose. And then now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to staple everything together. Now this is where it's going to turn into such a cute farmhouse project. I'm going to take these long dowel sticks and I'm going to simply just add some glue, and then I'm going to crisscross that right inside there. I did one on the inside and then one on the outside, because otherwise the sticks will lay funny and you'll have to cut them. Once I was all done, you can paint it whatever color you want. It's actually really sturdy and can handle a lot of weight on it because you've stapled it and glued it all together. For this DIY, we're going to be using a whole bunch of these stacking blocks from the Dollar Tree. This is how I store them in my craft room. I actually just dump them all inside this bucket and then I use them whenever I need them. So we are going to be gluing a whole bunch of them together to turn them into a beautiful, beautiful lantern that you can use in your home. And I want you again to see how it doesn't take a lot to make something beautiful. Now these type of lanterns, the one that we're going to be making today, they are so expensive at places like Pottery Barn, other stores online. And I just wanted you to see that with a little bit of imagination, you can make some really cool things. So I have these 2 long lines of 6, and then I have the 3 that are shorter, and that's going to be the bottom and the top. And you're going to see that I'm just going to add this glue together. And then once I've got those nice and straight, you want to make sure everything is as straight as possible when you're gluing them together. And then you're going to create this frame. So we're going to do that 4 times. And once you've got all 4 of them done, then I'm going to take these jumbo popsicle sticks or tongue depressor sticks from Walmart. That's where I pick mine up from. And I'm going to cut 3 long ones to fit, but you don't want to go all the way up to the edges. You want to leave a little bit of a lip so we can bring the sides of this lantern together. So you can see that I've got a lip on each one that will allow me to be able to glue down these bigger sticks and then still be able to put the sides of the lanterns together so it fits all nicely on there. And then I've got 2 shorter ones that I'm coming back in, and because the sticks are not long enough to go all the way that full length, I'm just hiding and concealing that by making them a little bit shorter on the back side. Then I'm going to come in with my staple gun, staple, add in some hot glue, and now I can start bringing in the sides. So you can see here, this is the reason why I didn't go all the way to the edge with these tongue depressor bigger sticks. So that way the frame of this lantern can be able to go together. And then I'm just basically sandwiching 2 of the sides, and I'm just holding it all into place nice and tight so it can dry nice and straight. And then I'm coming in with my staple gun and I'm just stapling it all together. Now you're thinking, oh, the staples, they're not going to look so nice. That's true, but I'm planning on painting this, so that's one of the things that you're not even going to really notice. If you are planning on staining it, I would say that you will notice that. So I'm not sure how to get around that one if you're planning on staining it, but if you're planning on painting it, you really can't even see them once it's all painted. Then around the bottom, I went with more of the sticks, stapled them in place. So here I am, I've already got it outside with this pretty taupey color, and I'm coming back in with some white, I'm coming back in with a grayish brown, and I'm just distressing it to make it look very farmhouse, coastal. I don't like doing too much coastal for my house. I really like more farmhouse traditional, but I think that the neutralness of this is just so pretty. And then I'm going to add on some of this white nautical rope, and then to make sure that it's nice and secure, I'm going to take some of this twine and wrap it around a bunch of times to create that really pretty texture on the ropes between the 2 different ones. And then I tied a simple loop knot, added some glue, and cut off the rest. For this DIY, they have these all over the place at the Dollar Tree. I find these all the time throughout the whole year, and I ended up having a couple of these on hand that I thought would be really cool to show everyone something fun and pretty to make out of them. So I decided to take them all outside and spray painted them all white to start. And then I'm going to come in with some burlap because I really just like burlap a lot. You can use whatever fabric you want, honestly. And then I'm just going to wrap this around and pull it as nice and tight as I possibly can, smoothing it out, making sure it's nice and clean. And I put it on the bottom and around the sides. Now you'll notice that I didn't go all the way up to the top because you need to be able to make sure you make enough room for the lid to fit back on. Then I ended up taking some of those larger tongue depressor sticks and I glued a couple of them together, and I'm punching some holes out because on one of the boxes I'm planning on using a knob, and I want to make sure that the screw is able to fit on there, and I needed a little bit of extra room. I could have used washers, but I just decided to do this because this is what was in my craft room. And then I just tightened it all in place. And then once I had that, I moved on to the next part, which was being able to decorate another box with the other part of my printable that I will have linked down below in the description box. And it, like I said, it will take you to my website where you'll be able to download it for free. So I went and I cut it out with my paper trimmer, wrapped it around the box. Now you can see that each box is a little bit different. One of them has it around the base of the bottom of the box. One has a knob. One is getting some burlap ribbon. I just had a lot of fun doing different things with these boxes because I think that's what makes them so cute and eclectic. And then I added this gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree and then a bow. I really always love putting bows on things. It's kind of I don't know what it is about bows, but I really love bows. So I went ahead and added on some more to the top one. I decided to go around it twice, towards the bottom and then towards the top. And I really felt like it just added some more personality to this particular one. And then another thing that I love from the Dollar Tree are these garden tags. I know I use them so much. Leave a comment down below to let me know if you love them as much as I do. I think I might be the only one. But I went ahead and glued those on, and then I did a little bit of distressing. You can skip this part if it's not for you, but I really do love that distressed farmhouse look. Now I wanted to give one more special thanks to Olivia for teaming up with me today. I just, again, adore her. Make sure you go and check out her channel and her video. Give her a little love, give her a heart, and let her know that I sent you over if you have not been there yet. And leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought of today's video, which one was your favorite, and which one you think you might try. And until the next episode, bye friends!